Shalom, people. This is Brother Laws coming at you with another video. And this is going to be just a brief continuation of my video the other day about Memorial Day, the triumph and tragedy of black troops. I just want to give a little bit more evidence of what I was talking about us celebrating the U.S. military here in this country as it pertains to their true, well, let's just say the other part of the history of their part in bringing about this white supremacy abroad, but in particular here in America against the black peoples. The Indians, I think that has been, definitely documented a lot, and so we know about that. But in this video again, I want to concentrate on the contribution that the United States Armed Forces has made in the white supremacy against us blacks here in America. And I'll have two examples. The first one is the Wilmington, they call it the insurrection and race riot of 1898. That happened here in North Carolina, in Wilmington, North Carolina in particular. This is something I had never heard about until maybe about 5 years ago. I had never heard of it. And apparently they covered it up really good. So apparently, Tulsa, we're gonna talk about Tulsa too, because it has something to do with this. Tulsa was not the only black Wall Street. We had many black Wall Streets. We know that Rosewood was one, but Wilmington also was. In fact, the entire city of and I think it was Wilmington, or it might have was a part of Wilmington, but anyway, the town had a bunch of physicians, a lot of black politicians coming out of Reconstruction, because there was a lot of us that was in politics. And so even though the benefit of the black people doing good was spreading down to white people, they were trying to regain control of everything. So in a nutshell, it went into the city of Wilmington and they kicked out the government. And in the process of them kicking out the government, they also start killing black people. And when the black people tried to, fight back, what happened was that back then they didn't have what they called they didn't have the National Guard back then. They had these, they called it was the state militias at that time. And these state militias were, controlled by the governor, just like the National Guard is controlled by the governor. So the governor called out the state militia. The state militia went in, and some say 60. I'm more inclined to believe the 300. They said they killed 60 to 300 black people in the town. Mowing them down with machine guns. Mowing them down with machine guns. Men, women, children, whoever. They burnt the city down to the ground, and they destroyed the records. And they basically, did the same thing, which we're going to talk about Tulsa too. They basically forbid the people, black or white, to talk about it. And it is pretty much gone unnoticed amongst all the other massacres that they did, because in this particular one, they didn't kill, they killed public officials, black public officials, aldermen. It was an actual insurrection, like what they was trying to do in Washington earlier this year, and it was covered up for a long time. Of course, now they're trying to bring it out more about what happened, because the Most High is uncovering all this stuff. But this is the state militia that was used, and in particular, and this has importance to me because, as I stated on some of my videos, I was a big Carolina fan, UNC basketball and football, and it's a stadium that and I don't know if they changed the name of the stadium, because like I stated in some of my videos, I kind of moved back from watching sports like I used to. But the football stadium, the name was Keenan Stadium, right? And it was named after this man, I think it's Jim Keenan, I want to say. And at the time of the Wilmington insurrection and race riot, he was a captain in the North Carolina State Militia. And he was called up, and he was sent down there with some of his troops. And he was the one that led the troops in killing men, women, boys, and girls. They say 60, but I think it was more like 300, because the range runs from 60 to 300. I think it was 300. And knowing this, because he was a major contributor to UNC, they named the stadium after him because of his quote-unquote service to the state. And some of these North Carolina State Militia men had fought in the Spanish-American War, what we would consider to be war heroes. But yet they mowed down all these black people like they wasn't nothing. Why? Probably because when the Spanish-American War, the Cubans that they fought against were black Cubans. That's why most of the troops that fought in the Spanish-American War were our people, because of the climate and because of the ferocity of the Cuban soldiers. They needed us to help them. And so I'm looking at this and I'm saying, what is going on here? When I heard that a couple of years ago, when there was a big brouhaha, because people was like, how did Carolina did not know that this was so? Because they tried to say, well, the reports are sketchy, and we really don't know how many people was killed, and we don't know whether he was the one that was actually went in and killed. They said no, the reports came in that he didn't just, he went in, they said, from house to house, just mowing black people down, men, women, and children. And again, this is the military. This is the United States military that they use. Let's not forget that after the Spanish-American War, after World War I, when a lot of black troops were, feeling, empowered, having fought in the military, what did they do? They had all these riots. They had the Red Summer. They had all this because they were trying to show black people, okay, if you want to rise up against us, we don't care about your service, what you did to this country. You're going to keep your place, and we'll use that same military that you fought in to put you down, which moves us on to Tulsa. Now, I got to say a little short thing about Tulsa, Oklahoma. And again, this goes back to some of the that a lot of stuff that happened to us, the Most High said, waste nothing. Nothing will be wasted of our experiences in this life, good or bad. I can remember growing up, and I think I said it in my videos, that sometimes, for some reason, I don't know why, I used to I used to play football, basketball, baseball, all of that stuff like everybody else. You know, every black kid, get out there, run barefoot, you know, go, you know, get frogs and get bees to fight against each other and all this other kind of stuff. I did all that, but for some reason, sometimes I would pick up the newspaper as a child and read some of the stuff in there. Just read it. I used to read encyclopedias, all this kind of stuff. For whatever reason, I don't know. But I remember as a child, my parents used to get the Sunday newspaper. And, well, they used to get the newspaper every day, but the Sunday, it would have all that, you know, all the advertisements and stuff. But they had this thing called Parade Magazine. It was a little thing in there, and it would have different stories and stuff in there. And at the beginning of the Parade Magazine, I wish I could have kept this. This is a long time. I'm talking about in the 70s. In the front, they would have news of the weird, right? So in one of the articles, they had a question. They said, what is the only U.S. city that's ever been bombed by the U.S. military? And I'm reading, I'm like, what? So I read it, and they said, Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921, the Oklahoma National Guard was called out to quell the uprising of blacks in Tulsa, Oklahoma by flying planes over the city and dropping dynamite in the Greenwood section of Tulsa. And I didn't think nothing else about it. Then, years later, when the Gap Band came out, and I loved the Gap Band. I really did love it. And I still like some of their music. You know, they came out with that song, "You Dropped the Bomb on Me," and so when I heard it, when I knew that they was from Tulsa, and I heard the song, I said, I wonder how they talking about that bombing of Tulsa, where they from. I want to believe that is what they was doing. I haven't confirmed that. You know, I haven't did an intense study on it, but I'm believing that that's what they was talking about when they said, "You dropped the bomb on me," because that's where they're from. In fact, the Gap Band is the letters of the three streets where the Black Wall Street was. It was Greenwood, and I forgot what the A and the P stand for, but I gotta believe that they was, you know, that's what they was talking about. But anyway, then when, you know, more and more information started coming out in the 90s and then the 2000s, it was like when people started hearing this, I said, but they put this stuff out years ago, but our mindset was not to look at that stuff because I guess the pain was still too raw in our people to be able to read that kind of stuff. But now we have a generation that's the information generation, and more of this stuff is coming out, like the stuff with the Wilmington race riots. Because when I looked at that woman, that 170-year-old woman testifying about the Tulsa race riots and stuff, she's 107 years old, but it's still prominent in her mind, hearing about the planes flying over. That was the Oklahoma, well, it probably wasn't called the National Guard then, it was the militia. They called them militia, but they were still controlled by the government, and most of them had fought in World War I or Spanish American War. This is the military that we, when World War I and World War II, we felt proud to be part of this. We felt proud to be part of these armies that had decimated our people. This was witchcraft. We were literally clamoring to be in these militaries that had bombed men, women, and children and covered it up. But now it's coming full circle and people acting surprised. That's why I'm saying you have to work it out in your own mind, how you gonna deal with, if you're in the military or you want to join the military, how you going to be able to in your mind, you know, deal with this, because you think, okay, well, that's just something they did in the past. But then you read about what the U.S. military did in Iraq recently, where they sent interrogators with Abu Ghraib. Have we forgot about Abu Ghraib? Have we forgot that in Abu Ghraib, on the pretense of gathering information to find the Shiites and the ones that was Saddam sympathizers, that they took these Shiite men, women, and children into Abu Ghraib, and these interrogators, wicked interrogators, made young boys rape their mothers if they didn't tell them what they wanted. Do you understand the wickedness? You remember the pictures that came out where they made they had men, naked men piled up into human pyramids on top of each other, and how they was wrapping people up, and they took ice and put it in, and put people inside plastic and filled it up with ice, and they was taking pictures of this wicked stuff. This is the United States military. Now you say that every soldier that went over there didn't do it, but if you're gonna claim the victories and the accolades, you also gotta claim the other part. Remember when Private Manning took the different pictures and put them on the CD or whatever, and then he put it out there for everybody to see, showing them killing people that they knew were reporters, right? And then in order for him to and some people might say he was like that all he could have been. I don't want to say I doubt it, but he knew in order for him to survive, what did he do? He said, I want to get a sex change. I want to be Chelsea, man, because he knew the LGBTQ wasn't going to be putting up with nobody assassinating one of their own. So that's the only reason he's still alive today. If it wasn't for that, he would be dead now. This is what you got to think about. So this is what I would say. You don't have to protest, but also don't give for me, I'm not giving no energy to this Memorial Day, Labor Day. I'm not giving no energy to it. I am not. And I also, again, want to make it clear, if you want to join the military or in the military, and you have in your mind being able to work it out, that as a black man or black woman that's in it, you know, you close to retirement or whatever, and you say, well, I didn't have anything to do with that, then that's between you and y'all. I'm just giving my own personal opinion, you know, as a person that is being revealed more and more to us, things that have happened, that if you could realistically stand in your formation and say, you know, I am part of the Oklahoma National Guard, but we need to issue a formal apology to the people of Tulsa for what part we had to do in the race riots, or North Carolina National Guard. We need to issue apology to the people of Wilmington, for our part in the insurrection and overthrow of a U.S. city. We need to issue, but I don't think it's going to come, because they're not issuing no apology for all those military active duty service members that were part of the insurrection of January 6th of this year. They're not issuing no apology. They're not apologetic about it. But if you as a black service member, if you got caught with a BLM t-shirt, or you came with a Black Panther t-shirt or something like that on, you probably would be brought up for court martial. You would be brought up for court martial. You understand me? But if you in the military and you're a proud boy or whatever, you probably get promoted. And I'm just being realistic. But this is where the part I believe that Yeshua, see, we and I was part of that too, where when we hear the part where Yeshua said, come out of here, my people, and be not partakers, we only think of it as sin, and like definitely we should come out of sin, definitely. There's no doubt about it. But when he says come out of Babylon, he means a lot of stuff, because again, if you get caught up to put down a Black Lives Matter, not that I'm a part of Black Lives Matter, but that just say people that believe in Black Lives Matter, that are not in the group Black Lives Matter, that if they have a protest and they think it became too violent, and you are called up as the U.S. military or National Guard quail, and they give you live ammo, and you got relatives within the protests, are you gonna be happily going up there to do your patriotic duty, to put down insurrection and possibly kill your loved one? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with us. I do not know what's wrong with us. And I'm talking about myself. If Most High doesn't get us out of this nation, or he don't point to us where we need to go, we're gonna be toast. We're gonna be finished as a people. We are. It's getting bad, because some people probably will get to that point where they say, yeah, a bunch of niggas, I don't care about them. Let's go in there and mow them down. I'll be the first one. Manumission, I think it was called back in slavery days, where if you was a slave that did something to help the master or help perpetuate slavery, you was given a reward. You was given a award. And just because we got a black Secretary of Defense, do you not think he would be the one that would give the order if Biden or somebody said, you know what, this situation has got out of hand, black people didn't get the reparations that they wanted, we didn't give them none of the commissions and stuff that we did on race, we didn't find that nothing was done, and now blacks are uprising, do you not think he would sign that order to send troops in? You understand what I'm saying? And this was the way it was going to have to be, right? Because what they're trying to do is preempt. They say, okay, y'all say that y'all got next, and that y'all the next ones that's going to rule the earth. Okay, that we're going to put some of you in charge and let you, but them being put in charge is not for our benefit. Them being put in charge is to show us that even if we step off the scene, we got so much of y'all mind controlled by us that y'all own people that's in public office, that's in the Secretary of Defense, that's in the Department of Energy or whatever offices we've been given under the Biden thing, will still do our bidding, just like in Africa. Now keep looking at these people who say Africa is the best place to be and all this stuff, while at the same time putting the blinders on their eyes, where France is now teaming up with this group called COVAX. It has something to do with these African nations coming together to create vaccines for their people, where they're coming together with France, where they want to vaccinate 30% of the continent by the end of this year. And they're getting the cooperation of the presidents. And our people are still putting their blinders on and say, you better get out of America, you better get out of America. The Bible said that the stuff that was going to happen over the earth, the stuff that was going to happen on the earth was going to happen over the whole earth. That does not exclude Africa. So unless in the Most High has told you that's where you go, and unless you in your mind have read the scriptures and believe that this is how you're supposed to go, is you go by yourself, you know, without whatever. Don't think that you're gonna escape the things that's coming upon this earth just because I ain't gotta worry about asking the Most High because I've escaped. Really? Okay, we'll see. I think those people in Congo was shocked after 20 years when that volcano came back alive and did the kind of destruction. Now they say miraculously the lava stopped at certain parts of the city, but you understand what I'm saying? We better wake up. We better repent. We better ask the Most High to deliver us. I'm telling you, because when it seems like we got victory within our grasp, we actually are grasping for defeat if we don't get ourselves right. Our minds is toast because we want to survive. I'm asking Most High, please help me. Please help me, because what he said, they that seek to save their life shall lose it, and those that lose their life for the kingdom, for Most High's sake, shall gain it. We have been in survival mode so long that we feel that whatever we do, because we surviving, that the Most High behind it. Well, I survived because the Most High wanted me to survive. Is that always the case? And so, this raggedy truck getting ready to come past. Excuse me for the noise. Raggedy truck with a raggedy looking pit bull in it. But anyway, that's what I got to say about that Memorial Day tomorrow. You do what you think, because remember what I said before, it's by revelation. This is what the Most High has revealed for me, but you got to do what you think is right in your heart. But remember that the Bible said there's a way that seemeth right unto the man, the ways are of death. So with that, I'm going to end this video and say give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe, and be blessed.